What's good, my man of society? It is your host with the most, Shadowloke, back at you with another video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. It's absolutely free. That is how you help my channel get into the algorithm. Highly appreciate if you go ahead and do that. Now, it seems that Trump won the election, so congratulations to him, and I wish him the best, and I hope that he actually does, fix America and, manages to, succeed because, even though I dislike the individual, I'm not a hater, right? If that's who people, want as president and one fair and square, then people can't be upset about that. It is what it is, right? Now, I don't have any confidence and faith in him, but nonetheless, I hope that he does succeed because if he succeeds, America succeeds. If he fails, America fails. So why would I wish that upon him, right? So hopefully he manages to, do what he does, right? But, a lot of people out there upset, right? And this outcome, shouldn't have been, how could I say, something that, people, I guess, didn't see coming or wasn't expecting because, Kamala Harris, I was not a fan of Kamala Harris either. I don't like Kamala. I don't like Biden. I don't like Trump. I don't like none of them, right? I think that they would have all been horrible. So either way, I was going to be unhappy with the outcome. But I would have preferred Kamala to win over Trump in the sense of who they are as people, right? Because, I find Trump to be a despicable individual. Nothing, no hatred towards him, because of the presidency and stuff like that, right? So for the moral sense, I would have preferred Kamala, right? But Kamala would have been a horrible president as well, in my personal opinion. Now, Kamala had a tough, challenge ahead of her, not only on the fact that, people were unhappy with the whole, Biden and all that, right? But also the fact that she is a woman and a lot of people still think like back in the days and, a lot of people have a problem with women running the country. For what reason? I have no idea. I could give a fuck less, what they are as long as they bring in good ideas, they're educated and, they got a plan. So I could care less what they are. But a lot of people still think like back in the days and believe that women only belong in the kitchen and, male chauvinist type bullshit. For what reason, I don't know, but it is what it is. So she had that against her, right? So the fact that she's a woman was already going to be a challenge, right? To get votes. The fact that she, and the fact that she is of color, for the reason I said earlier, because a lot of people still think like back in the days and, have a problem with that. Why? I have no clue, but it is what it is. Now, so, Trump, people can't even use the Hillary thing against her, right? Because Trump won not only the electoral, but the popular vote. So, you know what I mean? So, it is what it is. Now, when I said, people can't be, all that surprised, it's, I seen a lot of comments like, oh, they're just mad because we were taking over and blah, 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 and all this and that. And it's like, bro, I know maybe in states where you live, you see a lot of illegals or you see a lot of raza or you see a lot of Latinos and whatever. That is still a small percentage of what makes up the United States and what makes up America. This is still America's country of Americans, right? You are still the minority and it's not even close, right? Now keep in mind that these numbers have been, for at least the Hispanics, have been blown up, right? Because people are like, well, what about the ones that are not registered and that you guys can't keep track of? So the number has been blown up to, a way more larger amount just for they won't be complaining and stuff like that, right? So add in like a few million more there. Happy? All right? Like, oh, no, there's more, bro. It's just that, they don't... Okay, well, the number's been blown up there. Even with the number blown up and even like with African Americans, right? Because, to even think that there's more Latinos here than African Americans is stupid in itself. But that way they don't complain. There it is. So we'll say 65, Hispanics, Latinos in general, right? And then, it's been shown that there's, 41 million, African Americans, right? And then, whites, Americans, Caucasians, Anglo-Saxons. There's a lot of white people in America, bro. I think people sometimes get lost, maybe because in states that you see nothing but, raza or a lot of Hispanics and minorities. Keep in mind that that's only a few states where you're able to see that. The rest of the states, you can drive towns and towns without seeing a minority, bro. You see nothing but white folks. Because this is their country, bro. So you are still vastly outnumbered, and it's not even close. You get what I'm saying? Because you can't, a few million people away is a lot of people, bro. It's like comparing $1,000 to $1,000,000. Come on, you're not even close to reaching a million yet, right? So you're still the minority, and it's not even close. Not even if you put both groups together, Latinos and like African Americans still wouldn't even come close to the amount of whites that there is in America. Get what I mean? So people can be shocked, of this, right? You know what I'm saying? Like you have a lot of, people that have been, seen or, fed to see things a certain way. You know what I mean? Because in a lot of these areas, the only thing that they can look, this is pretty much how it works with human behavior, right? When you have areas like where there is no minorities, right? So people don't know how these individuals are or behave, right? And the only thing that they can go based off of is, what they see or what they already know, which they get off of movies or radio or the news or TV shows or, but stuff like that, right? And what does the raza always play in movies and TV shows and all this and that? We're the gangsters, the drug dealers, the bad guys, the villains, right? The antagonists of, whatever set program is being watched, right? What does the news always cover? The news always covers murders and homicides and DUIs and robberies, and that's what the news covers, right? The news doesn't cover like, going and showing these hardworking Latinos that are getting their diplomas and opening their own businesses and shit like that, right? Like the positive stuff. That's not what they throw out there. They throw all the negative shit out there. So now these people who don't have any interaction, don't know no, raza, don't know no Latino, don't know no, Hispanics. The only thing they could go based off of is all this crap, the negative. So of course they're gonna see these people a certain way. It's all they ever been fed. It's all they ever known. Now you got this guy coming over here and saying that they're coming in caravans and doing this and that. Now their panic shit goes even higher than that. Because it's not like they have Hispanics where they're at, where they could be like, well, that's not true because I work with Jose at my job and he's not what, he doesn't act like how these guys say they do or whatever, The lack of that is the reason why they get this idea, towards, certain people. Because of what they're being fed. You know what I mean? And that's, how a lot of people, always, tend to come to a conclusion about somebody or something. Even though you should never, do that, right? But people still do that anyways, regardless. Because like I said, it's always the states that have no minorities in them, right? There's no, immigrants or nothing like that, around them that are always, yelling this and that and, and throwing this to be the problem. Even though shit, you can drive for like fucking hours and not see no Hispanic at all in some of these areas. But yet, people say that this is the problem with, and I have said, it's funny that people think that building the wall is going to fix anything, right? Or that these minorities are the problem, right? Like these people that are selling, corns and oranges, are crippling America, right? Because they're out there hustling, right? And even if they do buy property or a place to stay at or something, they still got to pay bills. Not like the fucking bills don't, nobody pays them, right? So they still got to pay them, right? So, and they're still spending the money here. So how is this crippling America, right? But there are conversations that people aren't willing to have. They're not willing to sit down and actually have and discuss, right? Because they're quick to shut down or, get aggressive or angry, right? But like I said, and yes, the Democrats do have, the tendencies to actually, throw money at these people and, wasting money. And yes, and we're talking about a lot of money being wasted on stupid shit, right? Giving people, homes and all this and that, right? When that's never going to fix the problem. You got to teach people how to be productive people of society, how to maintain and sustain, the life that, or the home or whatever the fuck. You just give them a fish, they eat, you leave, they're fucked. You teach them how to fish, then you leave, then they're straight. So giving people stuff is never going to fix a problem. You know, all it's really gonna do is secure your job, right? Your seat, because that's the only reason why they do it. They give them money that way these people keep voting for them, and it secures their jobs. But it's not fixing the problem. People need counseling, therapy. They need to be shown how to be productive people of society. They don't need to be given homes and money, because you're not gonna fix a problem like that. And you can't have an open border. You can't have an open border because you will fuck up your economy. You know, because of how everything is structured. So you just can't have open borders. It's a stupid idea too. But there's a middle ground. But you know, both sides want to be the ones to get that W, so they're not willing to meet in the middle. It's either my way or the highway. And you know, I said we're still the minority, right? So let's say you have this small percentage, because it is a small percentage over the overall population of America, right? So you have this small number, and now not all those people get held by the government, right? So let's slice now even that number in half. So now you get an even more smaller number. And that's the problem that's crippling America. That's really what's, you know, destroying America. You know what I mean? That's dumb. Can it not be these companies and businesses taking their companies and businesses overseas to different, you know, countries, right? Because they're able to pay those people cheaper wages, right? And, you know, pretty much take advantage. That way they don't really have to pay nothing. Can it not be that that's crippling your country, right? Because you're allowing it. Can that not be, you know, maybe, you know, more, you know, plausible than this? But it's so easier to blame the problem on something that's different from you, right? You can't say the problem is men or women, because, you know, people out there are men and women. You can't say it's because they have eyes, because we all have eyes, right? It has to be something that's, you know, that they don't have, right? Something that they can relate to. You know, and the number one things is always ethnicities and religion. That's why those are always the two hammering points whenever somebody is looking to push propaganda, like the Nazis, ISIS, you know, white supremacist groups, and any other individual out there looking to con. Right? Because of course the problem must be this, because you are not of that, you know, religion or ethnicity. Therefore, the problem can't be related to you. Therefore, it's a lot more easier to see that as the problem. Because people are always willing to, you know, raise their hands whenever people are looking to see who's the one that did something good, right? Like, who did this? Oh, yeah, it was me. But whenever it's something bad, people don't want to, you know, now step forward and take credit for that. You know, oh, no, it was him, right? What's happening right here, right? It's harder to look in the mirror when we're talking about, you know, trying to find the source of the problems. And this is not something new. America's been doing this since forever. It's always been the, you know, go-to strategy. Back in the days, you're still able to find pictures. It was Irish, Italians, you know, the immigrants that were, you know, coming over here. It was them, you know, the Russians and Jews, right? Oh, it has got to be them because they were the illegals, right? Then it was the blacks, you know, oh, no, it's got to be these guys, you know. Then Pearl Harbor hits, and, you know, now it's the Asians and the Japanese, and, you know, they're ignorant, so they consider all Asians Japanese at that point. So it's the Asians, right? Then 9/11, so now it's the Muslims, you know, now it's, you know, targeting them. Now, you know, Trump wants to go to office. Now it's the Mexicans' turn. But it's always been the blaming game and the hate game, right? Here. It's not something new. You know, it's been done over and over and over again. So easier to get people, to trick people into hating something than to trick people into liking something. You know? Gets people to jump on board a lot quicker. How do you think, you know, Hitler got the Nazis, and everybody to jump on board on how they view the Jews? You know what I mean? These individuals know, you know, that's always been their tactic, bro. You know, all these groups use the same tactic, you know. But overall, in general, you know, I wish that he does succeed, you know, but this is, you know, something that people shouldn't be, you know, upset over. I mean, if that's what people want as a president, fuck it, you know. You can only wish the man the best, and, you know, and only time will tell from there. You know, because people have painted him out to be like the Messiah, so we can only, you know, wait and see. Because, I mean, the only evidence has shown us that, you know, he doesn't learn, he doesn't really like to own up to stuff, you know. Everything points to the opposite of that, but, you know, maybe people out there see something that I just can't see, you know, or maybe I missed something, I don't know. Like, maybe he saved a bunch of kids from a burning building, or I actually truly don't know why people see him as the as the one, or why they like him so much. I mean, it's not like he's told people his plans or has done things to get people to jump on board. I think it's more about they're just like they were just sick and tired of the other side, and they just know that this will upset them, and that knowing that they're just happy with that. uh, you know. But overall, that's just my opinions. What are your thoughts? Leave it in the comments. Chat. We up.